Hello and welcome to the Gaj Show. So, the Gaj Show, I want to help listeners to get a better grasp of the crypto world by getting into conversation with some of the leading voices in the crypto space. And in this episode, I'm going to get into conversation with Ivan on Tech. Here's a little bit about Ivan. Ivan is the founder and CEO of Moralis Web3. He runs one of the biggest crypto-related YouTube channels, Ivan on Tech. He also runs Ivan on Tech Academy, a go-to place for crypto education. It gives us immense joy to have Ivan on Tech on the Cut Show. I can't wait to get into conversation with him. Let's go. So,
Perfect.
yeah, Ivan, so great to see you today on the Cut Show, and happy to finally talk to you. And how are you today?
Good. Thanks a lot for inviting Gajesh. Happy to be here. And yeah, let's start. Happy to discuss DeFi, crypto, whatever you want.
Awesome, yes, sure. So, to begin with, I'm really curious to know how did you get introduced to crypto, and do you remember the first day?
Well, I remember that my friend told me about Bitcoin and that it was money online where electricity is kind of backing it. That's how he said it to me. And I was very interested because I always liked programming and technology. So I didn't really understand how it can work, how you can have money online backed by electricity. So I started to research it and it was fascinating. So since then I'm fully there. And I do remember the exact day. I remember where I was. I remember exactly how it was. And it was in 2013 when Bitcoin was going up a lot. It was one of these hypes when Bitcoin went to $1,000 for the first time, and that's when I learned about it. And a few weeks after I learned about it, it also collapsed to like $200 from 1,000 to 200. So yeah, it was fun times in 2013.
Wow, awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Great to know about this. And you started coding at 9, and how did you learn, and what was the first project you built?
Yeah, so I played a lot of online games. I played RuneScape a lot as a kid, and I always was interested in computers because when you play games as a kid, you think that you're good at computers, and you are compared to other kids. You are online. You know how internet works, and then one day I was hacked. My RuneScape account got hacked, because there was a guy that pretended to be working for the company that does the game, and yeah, he stole my password and the account. But that is also when I said, okay, let me try to learn programming myself, and I started with HTML because RuneScape was a Java applet. It's old technology, but it's basically that you can run Java apps in a website. So I thought if I just learn how to create a website, I will be able to create something like RuneScape. But of course, HTML is very basic. I read the HTML book, and when I finished it, I could just make some simple website with an image and text. And then I asked myself, so what do I need to do learn more in order to do games that can be playable online? So that's when I started with JavaScript, also C++, because I want to create games, and I heard that C++ is great for games. So C++ was also very, very early on that I learned. And then, once you know C++, it's very easy to go to Java, C#. I mean, all of that is very, very easy. But one of the life-changing moments for me was to learn object-oriented programming. I don't know how old I was, maybe 10 or something. But to, for the first time, create a class and like grasp data structures, it was truly life changing. And once you know that, you can program in any language. Now, of course, when I was 9, I wasn't any experienced dev. Like, for example, when I was 9, I put all the code in one file. I didn't know how to like break it up or anything. It was just one file, everything. When I was 9, I had no clue about code complexity, for example, time complexity, how to structure code properly. I had no clue. But that's the thing. When you start, you don't need that. You can make still things work without that. So it was a very life-changing moment actually to start going into tech early on. And that's also what I tell people. It's possible. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to start programming. It's not difficult. As long as you're interested, it's actually very easy, especially with the programming languages we have today. And also 10 years ago, when 10, 13 years ago when I started, it was no problem at all to start. Just if you're interested, you can do it. It's not difficult.
I can completely resonate with that. So, I'm a big fan of your YouTube videos, and what made you start your YouTube channel, and also what makes a great crypto video?
Well, I started YouTube in 2017, and it was a programming channel at that point because I was a developer, so I did some programming tutorials. But then one day I tried to do a crypto video, and it completely exploded. I did not know that it would explode. I never thought that crypto is so big online. But yeah, since then I noticed it, and since then I only did crypto videos. So it's 4 years soon. It's been a long journey. A good crypto video needs to be intriguing for people, and for that it needs to be something about the markets in my mind, and that's also how I grew my channel, because you clearly see what people are interested in, and that is the markets. No question about that. If you do a video and it's only about development, and you want to reach the mainstream, of course you will not be able to do that. It needs to be something about the market, it needs to be something about the assets, but then of course go a bit deeper, go into tech, go into other details in the same video, because you get attention by talking about the markets, and then you can also have other topics that are more deeper. So I think that balance makes a good crypto video, because a good crypto video is not good if nobody watches it. That's the thing. You need to have both people that watch and the depth to it.
Yeah, by the way, thank you for featuring me in one of your video. It was about DAOs. Like I was, yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yes. So, I look up to you as one of the peers, pioneers in crypto education. As someone who has built amazing Ivan on Tech Academy, how do you look at crypto education and how ecosystem can contribute to it?
Well, it's very important because education is how we can build new things, how we can go mainstream. And without education, developers cannot deliver. That's also why we build Moralis, to make developers able to build things quickly. So education is a big part of that. Right now, we're witnessing a very small number of developers in crypto. Only about 200,000 developers are in crypto. While it might sound like a big number, 200,000 is very small. If you look at how many developers there are globally, it's 28 million global developers in all fields. And in crypto, it's only 200,000. It's non-existent, basically. So for us to go mainstream, we need more developers, more tech, more tools, more libraries, better education. And that's one of the vital things. Without education, this industry will not go anywhere, because it's quite complex. It's very different from everything else. And we need quality education. That's why we spend every day on academy, on developer tools, on everything that can help push this industry to mainstream, because if we don't go mainstream, we don't go anywhere.
Yeah, like yes, very true. So, being a developer, can you share your view on Web3 and how it will evolve?
Yeah. Web3 right now is a very early stage where we have apps being built for specific blockchains. So when you look, for example, on Ethereum devs or Solana devs or Elrond devs, they all build their apps for specific blockchains. While I don't think it will be like that in the future. And that's also what we work with a lot in Moralis, because we believe that in the future there are going to be platforms on top of all blockchains that allow you to build apps quickly cross-chain. So a good example to look at is how you build the PC apps before Windows. Before operating systems, you had to build app for specific hard drive, hardware, monitor, printer, and then a new hardware comes, and your app does not work because you built specifically for that specific hardware. And that is the stage where we are right now in crypto. We build for specific chains, we build for specific ecosystems, and then Windows came and other operating systems came, and now you can build an app on Windows or on Linux, and it works everywhere, on all computers, on all hard drives, on all CPUs, GPUs. Hardware is abstracted away. So the same thing is going to be, I think, with blockchain and Web3. That very, very soon you build an app, it will work on Ethereum, on Matic, on Solana, everywhere. And new blockchain comes, it also works. So that's also what we're building a lot in Moralis, because we believe in cross-chain. It's going to be cross-chain everything. And if you build specifically for EVM or specifically for Solana, and then a new chain comes, well, you have to start from scratch. And that's not good, because the advantage of being in crypto is being fast. If you're fast, you have a lot of advantage. So we believe in that cross-chain world a lot, and that's also what we're witnessing now. A lot of dApps are cross-chain, because users are now cross-chain. Users want lower fees, they go to Matic, they go to Binance. Users want execution order, they go to Solana, which can guarantee order of transactions, which Ethereum cannot guarantee, Bitcoin cannot guarantee order of transactions because you can be front-run. So that's changing, and I think cross-chain is the number one thing people need to look at in terms of as the next big breakthrough in crypto.
Got it. So yeah, thanks for views. In the midst of speculations, how should developers focus?
Well, I think if you develop, you have the biggest opportunity. Whatever you buy in crypto, it can never be compared to building your own project. The reward and how much you can gain from building your own project, you cannot compare it to anything else. It's like looking at the early internet space and saying that, in the 90s, the best return was to buy internet stock. Of course not. The best return was to build something. Ask Facebook founders, Google founders, Amazon founders, what their best decision was. It was to build something, not just buy an internet stock. So speculation is good short term, but long term, it's not good. Absolutely not. In comparison to that you can build, you can get skills, you can be part of projects that change the world. Of course, that return on investment cannot be compared to anything else. So developers definitely should be in crypto. And more people now, they're discovering that, wow, crypto is so amazing, crypto is growing, crypto is so huge, and they're now coming into crypto as well from traditional development.
Awesome. And yeah, on to the next question. So what are the fundamentals of a crypto project according to you?
Fundamentals, they have a lot to do with stickiness. When people use it, do they come back? That's maybe the number one fundamental. People that use it, do they come back? Do people care? Do people enjoy? That's the only fundamental that I really care about, because everything else is secondary. When you look at good fundamentals, it's only about do people come and do they use it? And that's, for example, what Axie Infinity has shown, where they have their own chain, their own wallet, their own everything, because they only optimize for do people come and do people play the game, or they don't play the game. So I think more and more developers, they need to focus on those factors, and maybe less on exactly which consensus we're gonna be running on, exactly which blockchain we're gonna be using. That's also why I'm saying it has to be cross-chain, because different blockchains have different pros and cons. And so for developers to optimize for user stickiness, for user retention, they need to be able to build cross-chain and pick the best from all chains. So yeah, I think the only fundamentals that matters is that do people use it, do they come back, they use it again, or they never come back.
This will certainly help many founders, and yeah. So by the way, I'm a big fan of Moralis. I use it in all my dApps.
Nice,
And
nice.
about Moralis.
Well, Moralis is the platform for building dApps that we've been building for the last 1 year, and it's live in production since June. And the whole idea is that we give developers a very simple, very nice SDK, where you want to log in a user, it's one line of code, and your user is logged in, and you have all assets about that user across all chains. When the user does a transaction, you get an alert in your database in real time. If a user is using a new blockchain, it's automatically all synced. If a new blockchain comes that doesn't even exist today, and your user starts using that blockchain, you instantly know that, and you get all transactions, all assets on that blockchain as well. So this is what I mean, that Moralis allows people to build cross-chain dApps and future-proof dApps already today, because you don't have to choose which blockchain you use if you just use Moralis. Also, the same thing is when it comes to indexing, and when it comes to running queries on the Ethereum or Binance or Polygon networks. As a developer, you probably know that blockchain nodes cannot really give you data. They're not meant to be used as the database. They can give you some simple data, but if you want to do a query, like a real query, for example, give me all addresses that were active in the last 60 minutes where the balance is above 1 ETH, how do you do that from a node? It's impossible. So a big part of Moralis is that we take all the data from all chains and we put it in SQL databases that can be easily queried. So that's another big big of our services, but another big service of ours that allows this to happen very, very smoothly. And we build our own technology on top of these fundamentals. For example, how do we take all data and index it across chains, but we also open it up for third-party developers. So Moralis, to summarize, is a Web3 platform for building dApps fast and cross-chain, and be future-proof when new blockchain comes, because you're instantly available. You're instantly available on new chains if you use Moralis. So that's what we do every day at Moralis.
Great to know this. So, on to the last question. Being a young developer, your journey inspires me a lot. So, what would you say to young developers?
Well, I would say that the most important thing is that you yourself like development, because if you like development, you can spend a lot of time, nights, days. You don't care about which Saturday, Sunday, which day it is, which time it is. You're always passionate. So that's the most important thing, and you need to have it. If you're young and you're developing and you don't really, you're not liking it, I'm not sure you're gonna be successful, because there are so many other people that absolutely love it. So number one, you need to love it. Number two, you need to be curious about what is the next tech. Don't just learn something and use it every day, because I assure you that it will get outdated very, very soon. And that's why you have to be interested and curious. But this also means that you shouldn't overthink when you start to learn. I see so many people asking me, hey, Ivan, which programming language should I learn? Will I waste time if I learn JavaScript instead of Python first? Will I waste time if I learn C# instead of Java as my first language? And that's the thing, don't focus on specific tech. When you're learning, just learn something. Because at the end of the day, you will have to relearn anyway, because all tech gets outdated very quickly. So the most important thing you have to learn as a developer is to learn how to learn. Because if you learn how to learn, you can be a developer. You can learn new stuff. And if you don't learn how to learn, you cannot be a developer. Because the tech is changing all the time. And being a developer, it's learning every day. Every day we use new tech, new libraries, new functionalities, new blockchains, new SDKs, new APIs. So of course you need to be in constant learning, and you need to be okay with that. You need to know how to search for answers online, how to find the code that you can use and learn from. So it's a lot of this curiosity. So to summarize, number one, don't hesitate when you start, just start learning something, and just know that you will have to relearn all of it probably. So you better just start somewhere and learn how to learn, and the other things will fall into place as you go along.
Very true. Like I completely agree with you, and so like this answers my question. Thank you for joining this. Thank you, Ivan, for your time, and like yeah, thanks for joining the podcast.
Thanks, Gajesh.